Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Play Action Podcast presented by Warrior Student Media. I'm TJ Haws, joined today by my illustrious co-host here, Tyler Houston. Don't give me a weird look because I use the word illustrious, okay? I know that's a big word for you, but it's a compliment.
My vocabulary isn't that big, though.
I know, but how you doing on this fine day, T. Houston?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited for another week of football, buddy.
You are? I'd hope so because there's a reason you're on this podcast, okay? So... No, I mean, we got a great slate of games. I mean, I say that every week, but, just as the year progresses, every game seems to be good. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep saying it. Yeah, we got another great week of football. Very fun week last week, and we're going to keep it going, all right? So, that being said, we're just going to jump straight into the games. We'll start with Thursday night, as per usual. We got the Broncos versus the Colts, and looking at this game, probably by week 1 or week 2, I'd expected a lot of running the ball because, you got Jonathan Taylor, best running back in football at the time at least. And you got Javonte Williams, who, second-year running back, very impressive in his rookie year. Now neither of them are playing. Obviously, Javonte Williams out for the year with a torn ACL, amongst a few other knee injuries. He tore
his LCL, so it was very bad.
He tore 8 ligaments in his knee or something like that. I don't even know, but it's terrible. And then I almost said Javonte Williams again. Jonathan Taylor is also out for this week, so it's going to be a lot of passing the ball. So I have a little bit of a higher score. I got 26-17 going to the Broncos. Again, with just this offense is actually I think the Colts offense is ranked as the worst in the league right now. So I just don't see them doing much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have the Broncos winning 23-13. As you said, the Colts are probably one of the offensive-wise are one of the worst teams because Taylor has been having a slow start to the year. Yes, last year, before he started breaking out and having a great year, he had a very slow start of the year. His first 4 games, he had about the same productivity to now. And then with Matt Ryan, he really isn't doing that much as the Colts wanted him to. You traded away Wentz for Matt Ryan because you thought you needed a new quarterback, no bias or anything for the Colts. Because I feel like they traded for Wentz because someone biased because Frank Reich is used to Carson Wentz's play style. Mm-hmm. Clearly that didn't work out. You traded for Matt Ryan, and now there's rumors that I don't know how true this is, but apparently I've heard if the Colts would lose this game against the Broncos, Nick Foles could be possibly the starter. I mean, yes, I wouldn't mind saying that.
A team that's starting 1-3-1 definitely needs a fresh start to the most important position in football, obviously that being quarterback. Mm-hmm. So I mean, play styles are similar. Nick Foles is just a younger player, and I mean not young, but younger than Matt Ryan. So maybe a fresh start quarterback could work. I mean, they've had, 7 starting quarterbacks, 7 different starting quarterbacks the past 7 years. It's crazy. It's every year for a while has been a new starter. It was Andrew Luck, and then I know Jacoby Brissett was in 1 year, Carson Wentz, obviously, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers. There's a bunch of different ones. But I think they just need to get their younger playmakers involved. You got Alec Pierce, rookie wide receiver out of Cincinnati, who had a really nice deep ball that he caught last week. So he hasn't gotten much opportunity. He's been injured a little bit this year. So it'd be nice to see him get more involved. And then you got Jelani Woods, one of my favorite prospects this past year, rookie out of Virginia, tight end. Dude's 6'6", 6'7". He had 2 touchdowns last week. Last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
And dude, I like the rookie class a lot. I like what they were doing at the getting more weapons. And I think they just need to involve him more. If Jonathan Taylor's not playing, you got to get other guys involved.
Yeah, use Michael Pittman. He's your number 1 receiver. Mo Alley Cox has shown some things. This offense is younger besides your quarterback situation. Offensive line, too, Quentin Nelson arguably is supposed to be the best guard in football. He's playing average at best at times. He's this offensive line in general is just struggling.
Ryan Kelly was supposed to be one of the best centers in football, too, and he is getting pushed back consistently. So this offensive line in general has been struggling. You got a couple of weaknesses, especially at left tackle. Left tackle is not good right now. I believe his Matt Pryor, if I'm not mistaken. Braden Smith at right tackle has not looked good either. This offensive line's been really lackluster for all the talent that they have. So I do think, just getting more receiving threats involved. But for Denver, we'll move on to Denver. I think they just need to get pressure on Matt Ryan. Is really what it comes down to. Matt Ryan is not who he used to be. He needs a clean pocket to make plays. And this offensive line has been struggling. You got to put pressure on him.
Yeah, for the Broncos, that's, as you said, they need to put pressure on him. At the same time, too, Randy Gregory is out because he's having knee surgery. Mm-hmm. That is a huge loss for that defense because him and Chubb have been a great duo together.
Yep.
Now it's going to come down to Chubb and I think the secondary. What can the secondary play against a struggling Matt Ryan offense?
Yep. I'm going to switch to the offensive side of the ball real quick. My player to watch for Denver is going to be Russell Wilson. I mean, I think Nathaniel Hackett just has to let him cook. I mean, it sounds cliche, but that is just what Russ needs to play his game. Without your number one running back, you got a running back starting who's fumbled 5 times this year.
In the last 44 carries.
The last 44 carries, 5 fumbles. You need to get the receivers involved, especially guys like Jerry Jeudy, right? So we both got Denver winning this one. So with that, we're going to move on to the next game. The game everyone is probably waiting for. I don't know why you would be, but Bears versus Vikings. I'm going to give a quick score prediction, and then I'll let you go into it with a little more depth, right? So I got 31-17 Vikings. The Vikings are just a better team. Is that what you did?
Exact same score, exact same team.
Wow, all right then. Okay.
Well, I thought you were going to say like 34-7. I felt like that was something you would say.
No, I don't.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just like it seems like a reasonable score. Just how bad the Bears have been this year. Defensively, they have stepped up at times. Eddie Jackson is turning back into his 2018 self, or at least he's looking like it. The Bears' offense, though, is the main issue. Justin Fields is struggling. Our receivers aren't getting open. Our receivers drop the ball. Is it play calling? The only good thing going well for our offense is our run game. We have the second most rushing yards in the NFC. So if I'm the Vikings, though, you're going to attack the run game, and after that, you're going to make Fields have to pass the ball where he has looked terrible. I'm pretty sure he is second to last in QBR, just ahead of Baker Mayfield. It's pathetic. Now there's people talking about that the Bears are going to finish as a bottom 10 team. To be honest, at this point, I agree with that.
Those talks have been around for a while, though, to be fair. So
I just say that just from the 2-2 start. And now people are thinking about the Bears to draft Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud.
I saw a mock draft by PFF.
Yeah,
one of my favorite analysts. One of my favorite kind of NFL analyst people, you could say. Mike Renner, love the dude. I think he's very smart. I love his mock drafts, and I saw one yesterday of his where he had Bryce Young going to the Bears with the 4th overall pick. And if it's already leaning on that, I think you might as well let Fields do all he can to succeed. And then if it doesn't work, right? You cannot justify limiting him as a player and then saying he's not good and moving on. You have to let him show as much as he can, and then if he doesn't play well, that's when you can get rid of him.
Especially with this poor offense.
Exactly, because this is not a good offense right now. At least personnel-wise, you are not where a contending team should be. You have one, maybe wide receiver 1, probably not as of right now.
Moody's playing like a receiver 3 at best.
Exactly, and then you have no one else that can legitimately be a receiver 1 behind them. You got I think an unlocked potential in Cole Kmet. I'll say that with more optimism because I do like his game. But you're depending on the run game a lot, obviously, and that's just how the Bears have played. They run in every situation unless they need to pass, and then they pass. So it's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Predictable offense. Very predictable offense. If it's not a passing situation, they're gonna run.
It's in ways the same thing with the red zone. Last week against the Giants, we got in the red zone, I think at least 4 times. We kicked the field goal every time, and I think 2 of the times we ran the ball 3 times straight, and what caused us not to kick a field goal. I think Luke Getsy is getting a little run happy with this team. I understand we're a great run team, but you can't just go through that every time because throughout the game, if you're putting up 100 rushing yards within the first half, you're going to get stopped in the second half. That's just how it goes with any team.
I could design a play that would work in the goal line for him right now, and that's just you get You get two receivers on the left side, one on the right side. Shotgun, Fields hikes the ball, rolls out to the right. You got Cole Kmet, who is lined up as an inline blocker, runs an out route. You get Equimania St. Brown, who is like 6'4". Put him on a corner, done.
Yeah,
you got your big body tight end, your tall wide receiver, and you can throw a touchdown. And then worst comes to worst, guess you have to scramble. One of the best running quarterbacks in football. Done. Look at that. That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown.
We're high schoolers and we're making better play calls than Luke Getz at this point. Like, it's that bad. We shouldn't have to be doing this. But this is just showing how bad the Bears' offense is, how much Luke Getz is only calling run plays.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, he's not even having Fields run the ball a lot. Most of Fields' rushing yards have came from him having to leave the pocket because our offensive line is as bad. Cody Whitehair is now out for at least 4 weeks. Our offensive line is just getting worse and worse every game. And I don't know what to do about this anymore.
And I like that segue because that goes directly into what I think the Vikings should be doing. That's just attacking their weaknesses all around, right? I think weakness is going to be an interior offensive line. My player to watch for the Vikings is Dalvin Tomlinson. He has had a nice season, is what I was about to say. Has been disruptive in the defensive interior. The stat sheet won't show it, but he forces a decent amount of pressures and kind of messes with the opposing offense. And I think that's exactly what they need to do against Fields. As long as they can stop the run, you're basically bound to win the game. And same goes for the offense. I think attack weaknesses on the Bears' defense, and you got a pretty good chance of winning.
With you saying attack the Bears' defense, if you are the Vikings, right now I understand Justin Jefferson is a top 3 receiver. At least so far this year, when
top one.
Okay,
sorry, top one.
Sorry, I say top 3 because everyone has their opinion. So
they're wrong. He's the best receiver in football.
There's a reason why I say top 3. I never said I had him in top. Oh, okay. I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm just saying worse. I'm just saying stuff that doesn't sound right. But with the Bears, Jalen Johnson has missed the last 2 weeks, and Jalen Johnson for the Bears is arguably one of their better defensive players. He's their best or their second best. And he has played well against Justin Jefferson throughout his years. If Jalen Johnson isn't playing for the Bears this week,
I don't know.
I don't see how the Vikings can't put like 40 on their head.
Yeah, I mean, I think this feels like a trap game for Minnesota, where it's like you should win, but like, what if they lose? What if they lose? So I think this could be a very competitive game, but here's
the thing. We already know what's going to happen if the Vikings lose. All the Bears fans are going to say we're playoff now.
Yeah.
Because we beat one good team. Like, I'm sorry. After we beat the 49ers, yes, did I overhype the Bears? I will 100% agree with that.
Did.
At the same time, too, though, deep down, I know we're not a playoff team. We got lucky again with a win against the 49ers, and we have shown that we're not that good of a football team.
Yeah.
We lost to the Giants, who played with 3 different quarterbacks, for heck's sake.
Exactly. It's just, I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game, but we both got Vikings.
Yeah,
it's the exact same score prediction, too. So we're moving on to the 3:30 time window here. There were 3 games, but I think this is going to be one of the best games of the entire week. So we went with the Eagles versus Cardinals. I got Eagles winning in a closer game, 34-27.
I almost thought we had the same thing.
Okay, 34 what?
34-20.
Dude, I would have laughed so hard. All right, well, Eagles are, I'm not going to say easily the best team in football, but they're guaranteed top 3 in football right now. I mean, Bills and Chiefs both have arguments. Nobody else does. There's those 3 teams, and then there is a gap between Team 4, and that's whoever you want to put there pretty much, because this is one of the most even NFL seasons we've ever had. Yeah, the Bears are 4th. Okay, and Kenny Pickett's winning MVP. All right, so getting back to this game. All right, buddy. You and your lies will not be tolerated on this podcast, okay? Oh, hey. Look at that. White lie day. Completely forgot.
Let's just continue.
You're just going to sit there and laugh at me? All right. Okay, well, getting into the game. Eagles look like one of the best teams in football. They're outscoring. I'm going to just start with a stat. All year, they've allowed 7 points in the second quarter. Or second half. Sorry, not quarter. Second half. They've allowed 7 points. That is crazy. Right? And they are a lockdown defense. And Dude, they're such a good team, man.
That
They're such a good
the
team.
Eagles team is just built perfectly. You have all your offensive pieces. You went in the offseason and got all the defense players you needed. This team is just well built.
I just realized that stat I said's wrong. That's for a different team. That's for Buffalo. I don't know why I thought it was Philly. So you can disregard that.
Jeez, this episode is already in shambles.
That was just wrong. That is true for the Bills, though. That is a fact. I don't know why I thought it was the Eagles, but continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Now it's just funny. This episode already has been in shambles, but
whatever.
Well, let's just go to the Cardinals because there's not much to say about the Eagles just because how good they are. There's not much you have to worry about if you're the Eagles.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Eagles have allowed more than 7 points in the second half to all teams. You know that? It's actually more than 7. It's not 7. It's more.
It don't matter. The Eagles are still a good team. They're 4-0 for a reason. That offense is built well. You got a young offense and defense. You went into free agency this past offseason and got the piece that you needed. Cardinals, though, defense is a little lackluster. Their offense, though, is getting healthier. You're going to get D-Hop back in 2 weeks. Rondo Moore just got back last week. This offense is good. You just need everyone back together full strength.
Yeah, you just got. I mean, the Cardinals. The only way I could see them winning is if they just got to limit Jalen Hurts. He is playing like a top 5 MVP candidate. This dude is running all over the field. He's throwing all over the field. You got guys you got 2 wide receiver ones on this team, both in. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, 2 elite receivers right now, and I think, it's going to come down to the passing offense. That's why I got a high scoring game. You got Miles Sanders as the Eagles running back. You got James Conner if he even plays. I think he's injured.
Conner, he's been questionable all week. He might play. He might not.
I don't know if he's going to play. But
Miles Sanders actually has, I think, surprised a lot of people. At least he surprised me. I did not think last year he had a bad year, I would say.
He sucks.
Like now or just
no, he doesn't suck. I had listed him as the second worst starting running back in football before the season started, only ahead of Devin Singletary, and he has definitely proven me wrong on that. So I don't know. I think this is a very interesting matchup. I know I mentioned this for the last game, but I also think this could be a trap game for the Eagles too. A game where it's like they should win, but if they lose, people are
gonna panic very quickly for I'd say no. I want to say no reason, but at the same time, the Eagles are right now 4-0. They beat a good team. They beat the Vikings, who I think is a good team.
They are.
Who else? Who did they play? All the Eagles, if you know off the top of your head.
I'm gonna let you sit with this and figure it out yourself. But as he sits here and tries to figure out who the Eagles have played, I think it's the weight of carrying that you're the only undefeated team in football. That pressure is crazy throughout all of social media and all of all the Twitter people. Everyone knows that Twitter sucks, but all those people are they see the Eagles lose one game, they'll freak out and they'll say oh, they're frauds. It's like what happened with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh went 11-0 2 years ago, and everyone was and they lost to the football team at the time, right? And it was a good game, and we didn't lose by a ton. But everyone was oh, they're frauds, they're terrible. I was dude, we just won 11 games in a row. What do you mean we're bad? You cannot say that. It's going to be the same thing here. Obviously, it's 7 less wins. We're way earlier in the season, but I think it's going to be a really good game.
Oh, yeah, the Eagles played the Lions, the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Jaguars.
Jaguars, good team. Lions, I know they're 1-3, good team. And then
Vikings, I'd say, are a good team. Washington is the only bad team.
Washington.
Yeah, it seems like wherever Carson Wentz goes, that team just sucks. They'll have a first good game, and after that, they just kind of just go downhill from there.
I don't understand it, but I still like Carson Wentz. I don't care what anyone says. I like Carson Wentz. But no, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to come down to the passing offenses and defenses. When I think the Eagles are better at both right now. But yeah, give me the Eagles. I think it could be closer because I think Kyler Murray's got a chip on his shoulder too. I should say that real quick. I think a lot of people are doubting him right now. Which when you
we had a Call of Duty XP weekend.
Dude, yeah, I guess with the Modern Warfare 2 beta out recently, I guess that's probably why he sucks. But once that's over with, once that's kind of pushed to the side, We're going to see MVP Kyler Murray back. I promise.
And D-Hop will put over 2,000 yards.
In 10 and 11 games? That'd be insane. That'd be insane. But
at 200 yards a game, it's D-Hop.
Anyway, okay, so we both took Philly. We're gonna move on to Sunday Night Football. We got the Bengals versus the Ravens. It seems like in a lot of these games, the Bengals have in the past few years have really outplayed the Ravens every time they play each other. But this is in Baltimore. This is one of the better Ravens teams we've seen in like the past few years. Don't give me that look. We don't have the same score. I had no shot. I got Ravens winning 34-28.
Okay, I have Ravens winning 28-27.
Okay. Wow. Close.
Yeah.
Do you have the Ravens kicking a field goal, dude?
Yeah, I do.
Will they actually kick one instead of going for it and then losing them the game? Like last week when they played the Bills?
You know what? Instead of saying field goal, let's just say the Ravens go for a 2-point.
2-point conversion and win. Yeah. No, they would lose.
No, they probably will. If they have to go for 2 points, they're going to lose. I'll start off with this game talking about it. Lamar Jackson. I feel
MVP.
Like, yeah.
And I'm a Steelers fan, I know.
He's on pace to win the MVP right now. I hope he does. Or I know you probably hope he doesn't just because he's in your division. At the same time, too, though, Lamar is playing hot. At the same time, too, he played Buffalo last week. Buffalo's secondary is a little banged up, but he still didn't play that terrible.
Little banged up? More like a lot of banged up, dude.
Well, they had Jordan Poyer back, so.
That's it. That's literally it. They had, like, Khair Alam. I mean, who was a good rookie, but, like, that was, like, their only good corner. No. Banged up. Bad. It's true. But I'm not going to say that denies how good Lamar is. Lamar's insane, man. He's the best rushing quarterback in NFL history, and I don't think there's a debate. Right now, everyone's like, oh, it's Michael Vick. Oh, it's Cam Newton. You are wrong. Sorry. It is easily Lamar. And I think what makes Lamar so valuable to this team is that he can make his receivers better. Devin Duvernay should not be a good receiver in this league.
Somehow he's making
it. It's Lamar. Yeah. Lamar is making Devin Duvernay good. I mean, outside of Rashad, Bateman is the one exception. Bateman is a legit good receiver. So I'm not going to say, like, oh, he's making Bateman good. But I think Bateman's a legit good receiver. I don't think Devin Duvernay should be playing nearly as good. I think if he had an average quarterback, he would not be that good. But Lamar makes him better. So that's my goal for the Bengals defense. Stop Lamar.
Yeah.
That's literally it. All you have to do.
J.K. Dobbins has came back too. I feel like that might help Lamar like slow down a little bit because I feel like without J.K. Dobbins, I feel like Lamar had to do everything on his own. I think J.K. Dobbins is like a little blanket for him. Can pass it off to him, give him the ball a couple times. J.K. Dobbins played very well last game. He had 2 touchdowns, pretty sure. J.K. Dobbins was used a lot last game, especially against a Buffalo Bills team who's playing great.
Rushing and receiving touchdown, by the way. So he's being used in multiple ways than just running on the goal line.
I wrote this down, and I feel like every year there's a team we compare to the Falcons. I know this is about to sound so bad. I feel like the Ravens are playing like the Falcons. Every loss this year has been to a choking game. Well, they were up at like 21 against the Dolphins, right, and lost. And then I think 17 in the Bills and lost.
Do you want me to give you a fancy little stat?
Sure.
In those 2 games, the Ravens were losing. Like for like how long? How long do you think in those 2 games combined? Like how much time were they losing?
2 minutes.
14 seconds. In both games combined, the Ravens were trailing for a total of 14 seconds.
So let me guess, like a kick return or something?
It's 14 entire seconds. They were winning in both games the entire time. In a combined 14 seconds, they lost. They lost 2 games in a span of 14 seconds, pretty much. That is crazy. And that is what is making Baltimore fans want John Harbaugh fired, which I don't agree with. But, and I'm not saying that because I think he sucks and I want him to be on the Ravens still. I think he is a top 5 coach in football, and I think he's just a little too aggressive.
I agree with that. 2-point conversion last year proved that a lot.
And I want to add on to that because last episode, me and Caden had talked about the same topic with John Harbaugh, and we had mentioned the fight, like the argument he had with Marcus Peters and how Marcus Peters doesn't believe Harbaugh trusts the defense enough. So that's why they went for it and tried taking a bigger lead instead of just kicking a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So he's my player to watch. I think Marcus Peters is going to prove John Harbaugh wrong this week, and he's going to shut down like Jamar Chase. He'll shut down T. Higgins, and which is really all they have to do is just shut down at least one of the receivers. You should shut down all three, but if you can shut down one or two of them, you're set to win against this team.
Yeah, the Ravens are also going to have to worry about Joe Mixon. That offense has played great besides the offensive line. I think if you are the Ravens, you're going to want to force the Bengals to pass more, just how bad the offensive line has played for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But I think that, like all these games, it's going to be high scoring. Lamar will have a 50-plus yard rushing touchdown. I can almost guarantee it. It happens. It literally happens. It just will. It just will. So I'm going to say third quarter it happens.
I'll take the fantasy points.
Yeah. He should be on my team, but like that's whatever.
Bro, this stat once. Who are you trying to trade me? Geno Smith and who else for him?
Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
You almost did it. Don't act like it's a bad trade. You almost did it. Okay, well, fantasy aside, because fantasy football is annoying. We're going to get into the Monday Night Football game. Last game that we're going to talk about here. Raiders versus Chiefs. I got the Chiefs winning 31-20.
Oh my god, that was dumb. We did it again.
Dude, our scores are so close every game now. That's insane. That's weird.
The Chiefs win 31-24.
Okay, pretty close. Well, I mean, I don't feel like there's a ton to talk about in this game, so we might kind of breeze through this one. This is going to be a very, just simple, bold, what's the word? I'm blanking on words today, man. I cannot think of words.
As I said, this episode is
a simple game where you just got to execute, and use your top guys, right? Like I think the Raiders, my two goals for them are use your top weapons and stop Mahomes. That's very basic, but that is you got to get Devontae Adams involved. Darren Waller has been one of the most underwhelming tight ends in football, and there have been a lot of underwhelming tight ends. Him, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle has been the most underwhelming tight end I've ever seen this year.
I'd say Pitts just because Kittle has been out for the first two games.
Pitts, yeah, fine, I'm okay with that too. But Darren Waller is definitely up there. And then stopping Mahomes. Mahomes is a playmaker. He is the best quarterback in football. He proved it last week, and I think they just got to get pressure on him. You got a great pass rush duo, and you got to get the secondary to stop those receivers. And the receivers aren't great, so it won't be that super difficult. But you just got to make sure Mahomes can make the plays he's used to.
I think it's the same for the Chiefs defense. They got to do the same with the Raiders. You got to stop Derek Carr. You got to stop Devontae Adams. If I am the Chiefs, I want to try and just force the Raiders to run the ball more with Josh Jacobs. I feel like the game he had last week that he had 28 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 catches for 31 yards. I think that will be a fluke game for him. I think that's going to be a one-hit wonder, I feel like, this year. He's going to play like how he has before, but he's never, at least this year, I don't think he'll have this great of a performance. And I think it's same with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He has had at least, I think, a touchdown in every game this year, and that's why he is performing so well. Mm-hmm. But also, you were in a Kansas City offense with Patrick Mahomes and also Andy Reid, one of the smartest coaches in the league. Andy Reid is going to figure out how to use Clyde correctly, even though he's playing under 50% of the snaps every game.
That is exactly what my goal is for them on offense. Is just like I said, if the Raiders are wanting to stop Mahomes, which is definitely their plan, get the run game more involved. That defensive interior is very bad. It's not a good. They got Andrew Billings, I believe is who it is, and I'm blanking on who else it is. And I think that proves Malik Jackson, maybe. No, I don't think that's right. But I mean, this is even proving my point is that their defensive interior is not great. So I think running up the middle is gonna be very easy for him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire could get a bunch of late down, short carries, down the game carries. And I think they just run a smooth, balanced offense, and I think they can breeze right past the Raiders this week.
Oh, it's Bilal Nichols, former Bengals.
That's right, Bilal Nichols. Okay, well, the
interior is bad. You got 2 good edge rushers out of Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. So if you are
I dropped my water bottle cap. Sorry.
If you are the Raiders, I think also trying to get Mahomes to pass the ball could be good because Jalen Johnson and Max Crosby has played great this year. You're at the same time too. It's Mahomes. Mahomes made great plays against the Bucs defense. So, like, in a way, you want him to pass the ball because you have two great edge rushers. At the same time, too, you don't want Mahomes to be able to run around all day behind the line of scrimmage and just make a play that's supposed to be a sack out of, like, a 10-yard game.
I love your analysis. Get your quarterback to throw the ball. That's just words of wisdom by Tyler Houston, huh? I know that's not what you meant, but you had you said that at one point. You were like, you want to get Mahomes to throw the ball, which I just found funny. But I get it. You want him.
This episode was shambles. I'm gonna say that this whole time.
Quit it, dude. No. This episode's great. Don't worry. But no, I think the Chiefs. Although I said they need to attack with the run game more this week, I did say that Mecole Hardman was my player to watch because I think they're going to get more involved in the receiving corps. Amik Robertson, corner for Vegas, has been playing pretty well this year. Nate Hobbs is a great corner one. So I think they're going to have to go to more of the lower receivers that they have. Obviously, Juju's been the clear receiver one there. So I think going to Mecole a little more. He's playing like the wide receiver 3 right now.
I would like to see Sky Moore be used involved.
I hope so, dude. That was supposed to be like the best pick of the day 2 of the draft. They were like, how did they let a guy like Sky Moore fall to the Chiefs, and he hasn't done anything. So, yeah, I mean, I think we both picked the same teams this week. We both took the Chiefs, both took the Ravens, both took the Eagles, both took the Vikings and the Broncos. So, I guess, if I'm falling down, you're falling down with me too this week in terms of picks. But before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to add? Any of these games? Is there anything real quick?
For the Bears, it's not like a game-wise, but I mentioned this to you. With the Bears, offense, we them having so much money in the next offseason. I mentioned this to you. I'm on board for T. Higgins, baby.
You're not, dude. I don't know where you get this idea from. T. Higgins is going back to Cincinnati.
Hey, Burrow's going to need a new contract soon. Chase will need one in a couple years. Matters how long. They're going to save money for Higgins. Or not Higgins, sorry. Chase and Burrow.
I just realized, dude, Higgins still has – this is only his 3rd year, you doofus. He still has next year. Yes. Why did I gloss past that? Now I feel stupid, too. He got drafted the same year as Burrow did. Burrow went 1st overall, and Higgins went 33rd. I don't know why I blanked on that, too, because now I feel stupid. But while T. Hughes is looking it up on his Chromebook, going crazy and, absolutely shocked, that is going to do it for this episode of the Play Action Podcast presented by Warrior Student Media. I'm TJ Haws. He's a confused and baffled Tyler Houston. And with that, we'll see you in the next episode.